United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for this day. We ask God that you bless this meeting here tonight. Have your way here. Give us wisdom to make decisions that need to be done. In Jesus' mighty name.
Roll call. Scott Ferguson here.
Michael Green here.
Tim Kremen here.
Roxanne Tuskegee here. Tracy Donald here.
All right. Approval of minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. I will gladly accept the motion.
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes as read.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, okay. I was confused. I saw non-public. Wait a minute. Those are, we didn't seal those. All right. New business. It looked like,
We didn't have any signature action items that came in last minute.
Just invoices.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to double check
all right. I had Kim put this on the agenda as the replacement sign at the town hall. I don't know if everybody's had an opportunity to view the photo and the sample of the coloring that I left on the desk. Huh?
It's not like you covered it. Just sounded funny.
Oh, what is it?
Yes.
Well, I grabbed a sample of the vinyl just because it looks quite a bit different than it does in the picture.
that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple that.
So I'll pass that around, but I just wanted to have everyone take a look at that and kind of get an idea of what, if anything, we're looking to do. And did you guys get to see that?
Yeah,
Yep.
come on.
Again, that's a sample. You can change the colors. You can do whatever you would like. I know I gave the board a price a while back. I will pull that back up. Try it this way.
Was it 12?
I believe so, right in that ballpark. I'm not sure how he sent it to me last though, because I don't see it anywhere, unless he sent it to the BOS email. Well, I'll follow up and get a price. I believe it was in the ballpark of, I believe it was 1,200. And then if we wanted him to vinyl the posts that are currently there, that was another 400. If memory serves correctly. Basically,
Yeah, so
what,
if we get a firm price for we meet next week, so we can
Yeah.
probably go through. That's
Perfect.
what I was going to table till next week. and,
does anybody want to see any changes to this or different color schemes or? No?
I think that's fine.
Okay,
My opinion.
all right. And then the next one is from me as well, which is payroll. Kim, do you have that binder? I have it. So we ran into a couple, I guess maybe clarification issues this morning with payroll.
Those the three things that came up.
So under overtime in the current policies,
Yep.
there's an excerpt in there that reads, paid leaves of absence or any other paid time off benefit will be counted as time worked for purposes of overtime. And then it goes on to say you will be advised when you're hired if you're entitled to overtime pay or not. But then when you go to holiday pay, it says holiday pay will be paid during the week of the holiday at straight time hourly rate. So we had an instance, or a couple different instances today, but my interpretation of that is ultimately, we'll use Thursday as the example. So you get your holiday pay for the day, and then if you worked that day, your actual shift would be overtime? Or would that mean that you work your shift and then you get paid your 8 or 10 hours of holiday pay at straight time?
How do we do it before the blind?
I believe, without going back, and because of the audit, me and Kim had the thankless job of going back and looking at many, many months and weeks and years of payroll check stubs. What it appears to me is that if you work the holiday, you get overtime. So you get paid for your holiday, which covers essentially your 40 hours. And then if you work, it's overtime for whatever you worked above.
I can tell you, most places I've worked, that's the way it's been,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it makes
That's
sense
the
to
way I
me.
interpret it as well, but it's in 2 different sections of our policy, and kind of contradicts each other, but doesn't, if you will. It almost leaves it a little bit gray. I will have you know that in the new, that you will get very, very, very soon, it is very clear in there. But I just wanted to bring that up to the board and have a quick discussion on that so that Kim can move forward with the remainder of the payroll.
This was a cop, no, I don't know, you understand both of it. This is for what's in, and then you also have, that
So that addresses what? Question.
That would address essentially highway and at least one of the PD, and I think the second PD question was already answered.
So is there going to be a motion or just a general consensus of how that's being handled?
That would keep highway all in last week.
What's that?
Isn't that one of the issues?
well, with highway, it looks like they,
So they would get, so because they have Fridays off, they get, and then Wednesday, technically Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday would be, so but they chose to come in and work Wednesday, but for the storm, something opted to take this Monday off. So,
and well, they also, looks like they worked Thursday.
yeah, that's the holiday, that's storm. Right, so, but what I'm saying
They
is,
got holiday here, and then they also worked here. So, and then they took today off in place of their Wednesday, and which is a different pay period.
So, wait, say again? They worked, because they normally have a day off, they ended up working it, and they took day off in place of that?
Okay, so usually on Thanksgiving, we get Thursday and Friday.
Right,
They don't usually work Fridays, so they generally take Wednesday and Thursday off as the holidays.
okay,
So this week, they worked both Wednesday and Thursday, but they also put in 10 hours of the holiday for Thursday.
Yeah.
And then their Wednesday time, they took today. So they're gonna put 10 hours of holiday for today.
I mean, ultimately, you're just washing each other. It's, you know, is what's ultimately going on. The only alternative to that would be, is that you would pay them essentially 50 hours of straight time for this past week, 30 hours of straight time this week, and then obviously their overtime for when they get called out. So it would throw their pay period off because ultimately the end of this past week was the end of the 80-hour pay cycle. if that makes sense.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm trying to wrap my head around the idea of this being. I mean, is this something that typically happens? How did this?
I think it's just the way that the holiday fell at the last end of the pay cycle. I'll give you a prime example for us. The way my hours work when we work night shifts on Fridays and our pay cycle ends is you work after midnight, that goes on to the next pay cycle. But holiday pay is ultimately, so the guys who worked nights on Thursday ultimately got 10 hours of holiday pay during the day, which would then leave them 2.5 hours short on the next pay cycle. Because the way ours, we ran into it at the state the same exact way. And basically we just washed, kind of like, I think what the highway department's looking to do. But,
So was there communication about the fact that this was the plan, or?
well, I think they originally planned on having taking Wednesday off, but then in anticipation of the snowstorm.
They knew that they were going to be
wound up
working, so then
Right, so they worked Wednesday to prep for the storm.
so then they would theoretically communicate that, okay, because we're doing this, we're going to be taking Monday off.
Yes.
They did communicate that or no?
They didn't communicate it to me, but I'm not sure. I know when I was at the town hall this morning, that information was relayed to me, yes.
Dan told me this morning when he came in to drop off the payroll.
Because I have no problem with the fact that it happened. My concern is the communication process. So what if, for some odd reason, they were needed?
Yep.
Or we were looking for them for something and then it's just good luck?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like anything else. So we've had problems when department heads have done similar things and we've raised issues, the fact that, okay, well, you guys need to communicate, or the department head needs to communicate this stuff to us.
Right.
So would be my only
Yeah.
concern right now. Is the lack of communication. I mean, I get what they're doing, I get why they're doing it, and it makes perfect sense.
I can absolutely share that sentiment, and in the future, make sure that we're notified of a change. But as far as everybody carrying over into the two different pay cycles, nobody has an issue with that.
It could be paid anyway, so.
Right.
I mean, am I alone in the concern about the communication issue? If I am, then that's one thing, but,
No, I think communication is key.
Okay,
At least to Kim,
exactly,
if one of us is trying to get a hold of any department.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it all just kind of came quick, and it was probably an oversight, but I will make sure it doesn't happen in the future.
So their hours for Thursday will be
Yes.
the regular
Plus overtime.
okay.
Yeah. And then the only other one that came up was longevity pay. In policy, it says it'll be paid in the first 2 weeks of December. The next pay cycle after the current pay that's going out, that she's working or was working today, will not be until the 19th of December. So do we want to process that in the current payroll?
And it says within the first 2 weeks of December, that would technically be the third week, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So I would say that, yeah.
Yeah. It just doesn't specify in policy whether it is processed within that 2 weeks or if it's, I guess it leaves it open to what paid means. You know what I mean? Is that paid to the employee or processed through payroll kind of thing? So if it's paid to the employee, then it would have to go in the current payroll that she's doing,
That would be my,
which I'm fine with doing. I don't know if anybody,
I'm okay with it.
What does it state in your new?
in the new one, you get paid on your anniversary date.
so right now it's, so the anniversary date versus,
That's what it says on the new one, because once you've hit your anniversary date, you've earned it. And again, that's not a set in stone, that's something that we'll discuss, and maybe that'll change back to December or what have you.
No,
Can
I'm good with that. I just would figure that the vast majority of people would use that as Christmas money, so I'd be willing to change it even to like the last 2 weeks of November. But I'm good with the anniversary date, because that's
Yeah.
when they earn it.
Right, I don't mean to cut in, but but earn time, like come January 1st, do I get my 3 weeks earned to me, or right then and there?
What do you mean, you're talking like your vacation?
Right now you accrue.
No, because that's accrued.
Right, so isn't longevity done as accrued as well?
No,
No.
longevity is based on your completion of years of service
Okay,
with the town.
that's what I was trying
Yeah,
to.
Yeah.
so once you, I don't recall off the top of my head what the time brackets are, but, you know, let's say you become eligible at year 5. Well, once you complete year 5, you're now eligible for that pay.
Okay, so like, just say for me, I hit it in September, the
Mhm.
end of September.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as you if, I'm not sure if it's 1 to 5, or then, you know, as soon as you
It
hit
says
the
like
end
5
of,
to 9, but it does not say complete years.
right.
Right,
I know mine's very clear, I have to work at the, like my 5th year.
You don't get it at the
So
start, you get it
12
once you
months,
complete
yeah,
your
so
5th
it's
year.
basically 6 years,
Yeah, your first day of your 6th year.
yeah.
Alright, so are we looking for a sense of board or motion?
I don't even think we need that. I think we're just throwing it out there for clarification of the policy, make sure everybody's on the same page.
Well, I agree, I'm just saying, we'll discuss, so we're gonna have Kim process the
Yeah.
longevity.
now, does that get processed in with the regular payroll or a separate check?
Maybe this process is under the table, we can look at that, see what it is.
Okay. Perfect. So in this payroll, everybody's longevity will be in there.
Yep.
One, yeah. Okay.
All right. Any other new business?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I know we discussed last week, for the banking, Kim doing both the online deposit, or I shouldn't say deposit, the online banking meaning like the payroll, and the DMV, the transfers of the money. And then she would do the initiation and she'd do the approval, and then one of us should be overseeing that. I have administrative access with the account. I've had it since I became a selectman. When we initially started, I was actually doing the transfer and the treasurer was doing the approval. So in the absence of a treasurer, I can do the approval so that Kim isn't doing both steps, and so
And I
that kind of
can-
the separation of the power.
And I'm not able to do that.
Currently, you're not, because we have to turn that on.
No, Elizabeth did another test,
Yeah.
with their system, and the person who initiates cannot be the approval.
Okay, so I'll be the approval.
Sounds good.
Fair enough.
I know that position too.
Yeah, what I can do is text you when I put it tomorrow.
That's fine, I can just come up, so yeah, I usually come up on any time and I can approve them. That'll be the goal.
Any other new business?
So what did we decide on this one? These two?
Part-time? Part-time gets overtime. I believe the board has, or we can have that discussion right now as far as holidays.
I
Part-timers-
thought when we looked into that, they did get holiday. No?
They do or don't?
They do.
Part-timers do not.
They do not, okay.
Correct. By policy, by current
Yeah.
policy.
Right, they only get paid if they work. And they got,
Yes.
they.
If they work it, then they get double their pay
Right.
Right.
for the hours that they work during the holiday.
Right, so no, right, so if you're a part-time employee,
Yeah.
you
Well,
don't
you
get
get
paid
the
holiday.
fourth.
So they get overtime, they don't get any
Part-time,
holiday?
you work
They get double
holiday,
time.
you get double.
They don't get the holiday plus time and a half, they just get double time for the hours that they work
It's just-
Okay.
during the holiday.
So in that case, that employee can't put in for a holiday.
It's a conversation.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What's your question, Kim?
So on that one, Kim, I'm sorry, I'll clarify it for you right now. So on that particular one, you had 10 regular and 10 holiday, correct?
Yes.
So what you would have is 10 double time. You wouldn't have 20 hours because there is no holiday.
Confused or no?
Oh, trust me, we've gone rounds and rounds this morning.
So it's not put under as regular hours, it's put under as overtime? Is that what you're saying?
You could, either way, it's still not gonna calculate out even the overtime, because by policy it's paid double time.
We can go.
So what you-
We're gonna do it, we can look at it.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, we'll help you process it.
Okay.
To save you so you can find.
Oh, yes.
I think it was just a perfect storm with the end of the payroll, pay period, holidays, it all just kind of,
Oh, absolutely.
so. I will let the board know that our secret presents should be done tomorrow.
Terrific.
Hey.
So I dropped those off yesterday, and they got hard to work at them, and they'll be ready tomorrow. I can't say it in public,
I know, but
it's,
they were delivered to my house, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
and Kim emailed out, we did hand deliver a lot of the invitations, but she also emailed them out, just so everybody had them. So in some form or fashion, there should have been notification sent to every board and, every employee by, I would say, probably lunchtime today. So, and I think that's all I have, so if nobody has anything more for the agenda, we'll open up to public comment.
House decorating contest is due last few days to enter. We have 18 houses signed up. The list will be online for addresses if anybody wants to take a tour around, and it will be given to our judges soon.
So those needed to be in by the 3rd?
By the 8th, And then we have our Christmas pancake breakfast coming up on December 14th from 9 to 1. Santa will be stopping by. We'll have presents for the kiddos, some crafts, pancakes, sausage, juice, coffee, free for all Middleton residents.
How are your donations coming in on that?
We're doing
Good.
good. We're all set.
Okay, all right, just wanted to plug it if we needed to,
Yeah.
but, okay, perfect.
Any other public comment? I don't believe, do we have a non-pub? I will, gladly take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
At 6:59, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.